So we're here today with Marky. Marky is a rescued thoroughbred. He was bred at a breeding farm for racehorses and had a hernia. So he recently had hernia surgery, and because of his condition, his owner decided that he wasn't going to keep him. So he's been to 2 rescues so far, and he just came in last night to this new farm. This is his foster farm, and he's going to be here for a little while. And so I'm just here today to kind of evaluate him, see what he's all about. He's only 2. He's barely halter broke, doesn't know how to lead, doesn't know a lot, but seems really sweet-natured. As you can see, he's also pretty emaciated. He's going to get some weight put on, I hope, while he's here. So, but just watching him, I could see that he's a pretty curious guy, pretty sweet-natured. You know, was willing to check people out and follow people around. And
he even came pretty close to this camera.
Yeah, exactly, because he's curious, and I love curiosity in horses because that always means that they've got a pretty good play drive. So I'm just going to kind of fool around with him and see what he's like. From what I understand, you know, even changing the halter was a bit of a chore when they were trying to do that yesterday. So I'm going to try and put a rope halter on him now. I have no idea how he's going to respond to that, but we'll see. And the flies are bothering him a little. We also found out he does not like fly spray, which is no big surprise. So even just putting this rope over his neck was a little unsettling to him. You could see he's backing up, so he's letting me know he's not quite comfortable with that. So I'm just going to pet him and reassure him, let him know it's okay. And I will have to unbuckle this halter because it doesn't have a clip. And sometimes they stick, and I don't like that when my hand moves quickly. So I'm going to just put that down. Good boy. Good boy. Whoops. Would help if I had it in the right position before I put it on. Yes, even I do that occasionally. Good boy, Marky. Good boy. It's a little dirty. You're a little dusty today. And this halter is a little big for him, but
actually that might be all right, being that he's not used to it,
exactly.
right?
No, exactly. I mean, I certainly don't want it falling over his nose, but
or scaring him or anything.
That's why I always tuck the tail in. Whenever I have a long tail end like this, I always tuck it under so that it doesn't wave in their eyes and get them spooky. So, good boy. And just what I did right here, I did that as a test. I mean, I could have easily pulled the rope over his neck this way and not done it over his face. I chose to do it that way because I wanted to see his reaction if I put something in front of his face, and his reaction if I touched his ears, which you could see he's not crazy about, but he's okay with it. And I think honestly the flies are bothering him more than I am. So, good boy. So what I'm going to do now is just kind of rub him all over, and I'm just going to try and feel for where his tender spots are. You know, what part of his body he's willing to let me touch, what part of his body he's going to tolerate me to touch, and what part of his body he's definitely not going to allow me to touch. And all of that gives me some insight into his nature. So,
was that me who startled him, you think?
No, I think he heard something behind him.
Oh yeah, actually I think the horse moved.
There's other horses here, and cats and dogs and chickens, and there's lots of stimulation. Main thing is for me not to respond to that, to just continue to be quietly calm, because he's going to feed off of my reaction. Just let out a bit of a sigh. So you can see the way his body is right now. He's braced. You know, his ears are kind of back. He's listening to the other sounds, and he's not quite sure about being touched. He might be a little sore too because he did have his surgery. He also got gelded at the time of his hernia surgery. And from what I understand, there were some complications with that. I don't know what they are though. So now I'm going to start just gently tossing this line over his back. I'm just going to kind of drape it. And if you'll notice what this does, now this is a horse who's never had a rider or anything like that. This simulates someone's leg swinging over his back onto the other side, which eventually he will have a rider on his back. So we want to see how well he tolerates this. And he's doing really well so far. I'm also going to kind of see if I can pick up his feet. And the reason I do this is to not get too close, but I'll try. Good boy. That's okay.
Sorry, I didn't have the best angle on that
That's
one.
Okay. Good boy. I know.
Now, why did you put the rope around it?
Well, sometimes I like to see just how they respond to having something around their feet, because some horses really don't like that, and they'll really pull away or spook. He didn't do that at all. So that was kind of cool. And also, if you're in a situation where you don't know the horse and you think they might be the kind that would really get upset if you pick up their feet, it gives you better leverage, and you're in a little bit safer place if you just have the rope on. So he really seems pretty good about that. So I'm going to just see if he'll come to me. Good
Oh, I thought there was some looking and chewing there.
Yeah, exactly. Good boy.